I guess here's the ultimate question of who do you have in your, like, if you had to pick a winner, and who do you pick? Because I'm picking just purely based on a combination of depth, new blood, and the fact that they have a goaltender who, when he plays on his game, is one of the best in the league, that Toronto will finish first.
I concur.
The sticking point I have with that is that I'm not convinced in Freddie Anderson this year, and I wasn't convinced. I thought he looked like there were issues after he got injured last year and he couldn't recover from. And watching Anderson in the blue versus white game, I was thoroughly unconvinced.
Yes, for everyone in the audience, the second Freddie let in a goal in a scrimmage game,
Yes.
Ollie texted me being like, "Uh-oh.
Oh, it's over. He looks like Swiss cheese." I use the phrase Swiss cheese because I thought, even in a scrimmage, Freddie, you got to stop those, or at least be in the right position to have it hit you and deflect.
And what did I say in response?
Yeah, it's a scrimmage game.
Well, I didn't say it like that because
no, you didn't. You didn't.
So you interpreted that. But I said yes.
That's
it's
how
a scrimmage
I heard
game,
it.
and no one was playing defense. No one was
Correct.
boxing it.
Correct. So, but the issue. I mean, this is why I think Toronto's probably going to win anyway, even if Freddie doesn't play well. It's partly because Jack Campbell, I think, is the best of the. I think I was probably going to say he's one of the top 6. How many teams have we got? 1, 2, 3. I think Jack Campbell could possibly be the 6th best goalie in the league, in the division. So he's behind. These are the people he's behind. Hellebuck, because obviously Hellebuck's, I think, going to have another Vezina type year. Anderson, Carey Price. This is bold. So Thatcher Demko, Matt Murray, Jack Campbell.
So what happened to Markstrom?
Don't think so.
Markstrom.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The guy who had like an insane save percentage based on the high danger chances that he faced last year.
Yeah.
You think Jack Campbell's better?
I think he's going to have a better record and a better season this season. Yeah.
Okay. Well, everyone looks forward to Ollie finishing his fantasy hockey season in last place this year.
Well, I didn't pick Jack Campbell of my fantasy team. I did pick Freddie. I did keep Freddie, and I'm regretting it now. I should have kept Taylor Hall instead, but that's...
Wait, you dropped Taylor Hall for Freddie Anderson?
Because I was thinking because I was doing it based on the teams they were going to play, is that Taylor Hall playing in the hardest division against some of the best goalies and the best players is not going to have as much success as Freddie in division where Toronto is going to be one of the better teams than Buffalo, which I don't think is going to be one of the better teams in the East. So I picked it based on
playing with Jack Eichel.
I know, and it's a big mistake. Okay. I know, okay. And it's a big mistake. Anyway, we'll get to that because I still haven't fully processed that because I wasn't really thinking about Taylor Hall playing with Jack Eichel. I was mostly thinking about how I wanted 2 elite goaltenders. But then I watched Freddie play and I thought, oh boy. So we both got Toronto as the top. Does that mean the rest of your picks are going to be Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Montreal or Calgary? Who does it come down to? Who's the two? Because do you think Edmonton's going to be the other?
It comes down to probably Edmonton and Montreal for me.
So you think Calgary and Winnipeg are going to be better teams this year?
Yeah, but in saying this, like as I said earlier, I have no idea really how to predict this division. I mean, Toronto could finish in 4th, and I wouldn't be that surprised.
Correct. I think that's fair.
Like Montreal is one of those teams that like they're good, but they're not great. They don't have elite forwards.
They just play as well as...
They probably have balanced scoring now, but as I said 3 years ago to you before the season started, I don't know who's going to score goals for Montreal. I still don't really fully know who's going to do that.
I think it's going to be Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah, I think there's a
Josh
lot
Anderson.
of expectation that Nick Suzuki and Jesperi Kotkaniemi are going to be as good as Matthews and John Tavares, which I think is absolutely ludicrous when you hear Montreal Canadiens fans thinking that way.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of areas to go wrong. I think the left side of the defense is not mobile and overly physical. I mean, you're looking at Joel Edmondson and Ben Sherrod as being your main two guys. Victor Mete and Brett Kulak. Like it's uninspiring to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, going into the bubble last year, I predicted Montreal to win because I think Carey Price can steal you a series. I don't know if Carey Price can steal you a season.
Well, I think it always, for Montreal, it always comes down to just they will be as good as Carey Price is. And I think, they have a little bit of leeway because Jake Allen, I think, is a very capable backup. And if they wanted to play, if they wanted to give Carey Price more of a break, they could. But, as always with Montreal, it is however good Carey Price is however well that team will do.
Yeah. And on the flip side, Edmonton's one of those flip a coin, and we'll see how they do. Because although I do believe they have more balanced scoring, as in they're probably going to get more goals from their second and third line. Are they going to get enough? Is their defense good enough with Klefbom out for the year?
And they still have my breath. They still have no goaltending really.
And they had the best. They had one. Statistically, they had one of the best power plays in NHL history last season, and they still made no moves last year.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
I think Tyson Barrie will help them, but he's not going to help them on the thing they need most, which is defense. Exactly.
And we'll see if Evan Bouchard can kind of jump into the team, but again, he's a very offensively focused defenseman. I think Kyle Turris is a nice pickup for the third line center. I predicted Dominic Cahoon to sign there, so that's my feather in my cap for predictions. But we'll see. I think a lot of it comes down to if 2 or 3 weeks in, Leon Draisaitl's playing with Connor McDavid, there's a problem.
Yeah.
If they have to combine powers and put everything into one line, that there's not balance. So I think as long as Leon and Connor are on different lines, Edmonton stands a better chance.
Yeah.
Even though I think when Connor and Leon are on the same line, they're the best line in the league. They're just so dominant together. But I think for the sake of their team, they need to be on separate lines. Unless Ryan Nugent-Hopkins went back to center and was a legit second line center. But I think we're all reserved to him being a winger right now.
Yeah, and I think I prefer him on the wing too. I think he has more to offer, and you wouldn't want him down on the third line because that's not utilizing him as the best. I don't think
it's Kyle Turris' line right there.
But it just doesn't make sense to put someone of him onto third line minutes.